And Murugandi.
I think we're back.
Okay. So we left yesterday here, and I think white has to run.
Okay. Well, white has to run, that's true. But this kind of move is again a shape move that looks nice, but it's actually disadvantageous. Because you will get swallowed. You will get cornered by
Really?
black. Yes. The next move for black is quite easy, and he will immediately play it. It's this one.
Yeah, but then white goes through.
How exactly?
Oh, I will play here.
Here. Okay. Well, for the sake of the argument,
Okay,
first,
over here.
yeah. Well, a lot of players first play here, which is okay because it's Hane from the outside. But if black will cut, which has to do with this shape, white can't really go through. It's kind of yeah, annoying. Do you see how? Like this, of course, black will have to extend.
Okay, this another play.
So if you go through, then black will cut you as well.
Oh, so leather.
Yeah.
You capture it.
Yes.
Okay. That's easy.
Yeah. So
you cannot do it.
you cannot do that.
So you have to play this one.
Ah, like that. Okay, but then I will just yeah, frame you in. It doesn't look very promising. Even if white will now connect to his other stones, which is possible. So if she will play here, then yeah, she's connected, but she is playing on a dame point in Fuseki. She didn't gain anything in this area, and now black has sent it. You can see that this wall all works together. It's very strong.
It's
And,
funny that this move from black that prevented the connection is bad, and that the connection itself is bad.
Yeah, yeah. So in such a case, you can see that if both moves are actually bad for white, then yeah, she did something wrong. So this would be terrible for white. There wouldn't be a good move in this situation. Even trying to live locally here by making points would also give black a lot of territory and strength again. So let's say that white just tries to take points here, which is a nice idea, but yeah, actually this is also very painful for white because this becomes increasingly solidified, and yeah, these kind of shapes are very powerful. And still there's a lot of aji, so maybe white should even come back here. I don't know if that's really necessary, but let's just say that if white doesn't come back and takes a point, then later in endgame there are all kinds of tricks like this, and black can probably even cut, I'm not sure. Well, this doesn't seem to work. But these kind of things are always endgame, for example. So, yeah, I don't know, doesn't look too great for white. Still has to be careful if black later gets this. So.
Okay. So what did happen?
Well, this move that you suggested didn't happen.
Okay.
So was like this. Yeah? So keep that in mind. If you have stone here and like this, and you can play this move, it's usually nice for black. Yeah. For the person who can play this move, it's nice.
Okay.
It's a good shape.
Okay, so what should white do then?
Well, another...
because if you jump further, then...
Yeah, then you have the same shape again, but the other way around. Yeah. Which is also good for black again. So one way to try to break this situation is... yes, this is very nice. This is a kind of move that also looks like it will be surrounded, because yeah, of course, like Hane, this also happened in the game. And if white plays here, then it's kind of the same, because you just get captured in. But yeah, this is very important. In this kind of situation, Don players will never play this move. They will Hane again, for example. This is also what happened. This is some kind of sacrificing strategy, because now it's difficult for black to kill it entirely. So if he would cut here and kill this stone, then there are a lot of weaknesses on this side, so white can Atari and capture these stones or go through here. And if black does it the other way around, so if black attacks from this side, then it also looks very, well, unlikely that white will get in trouble here. Do you see that?
Yeah, because this and black is to come
Yes.
back and you're connected and...
Black still has cutting points of his own, so this kind of idea doesn't work. Because, yeah, the next move, if white can play here, black is captured. So, yeah. You can see that this kind of light sacrificing tesuji is very important when you're running away. When you have a weak group, you don't want to get surrounded, then, you know, this looks a little bit shabby and dangerous because there are cutting points, but actually in these kind of light shapes, leaving cutting points can be some sort of advantage for you.
Yeah.
It sounds very weird because you don't want to leave cutting points, but these kind of cutting points actually don't work. So when you have a light shape, try to think about also leaving cutting points, but yeah, of course calculate everything, because if your opponent can cut you, then you're in trouble. So yeah, actually this happened, and instead of doing either of these two moves that don't work, black just played here.
Wow, very strong.
Very powerful, yeah, exactly. Because now black gets rid of her own weaknesses, and the next move, if white will do the same, now white will be framed in again. So black can surround white because these weaknesses are gone. So it's the same idea. White cannot afford to play this, so again has to leave cutting points, and she played here.
Whoa.
Yeah, from this point on the game was better for black, I think. Maybe if a professional will see this, they will prove me wrong, but I would be very comfortable with black in this situation, which has to do with the fact that white has one really weak group, which is this one, and black doesn't really have any weaknesses. This group on its own is still a little bit shabby because there are some cutting points, but black is actually attacking white, so along the way he will get rid of those weaknesses. And yeah, meanwhile, black is building a lot of strength in this area, whereas white is not gaining anything, it's just running with a weak group. So I think, yeah, here you can already see that something went wrong. Probably this attack in the corner was too early.
Actually,
Yeah,
like this,
sorry,
of
this
course.
is not there. This was probably too early in the game. It's not really necessary to play there either for white, because this is so open, and later there's still a lot of budget. So I don't know. But now it's also very important for black to realize his own weaknesses and to be very careful, because if black wouldn't be careful in this situation and just play somewhere else, it would go really wrong. Would probably start to lose the game.
Why?
Well, it has to do with these cutting points, like I said, and this is now weak, but if white gets a chance to add more stones to this group, and I don't know, for example, well, it's difficult to find a good move, but even this kind of idea, now white gets another move to for her weak group, so she's strengthening her own group, and she's now attacking the black weak group.
This is much too direct. Can you better this?
This is also a possibility, but then you will leave your opponent to play this kind of nice shape. So sometimes you want to just jump, like I said, because a direct straight line is going two ways. But now, yeah, this direction is not really important, so maybe this would actually be, yeah, very helpful. Because if black doesn't come back, there's a cut, so black has to come back, and locally this is just a very heavy and ugly shape. And then white can also strengthen himself, and the eye shape here in this local area is completely gone. So this kind of technique is, well, it's a little bit crude because it's very direct, but sometimes it's actually okay because you make your opponent heavy. So in this case, you get 2 stones for your own weak group and you're attacking your opponent's weak group. So you can see that the balance completely shifted from black attacking white, white is suddenly attacking black. So yeah, playing Tanuki in this kind of situation would be very bad. You would immediately yeah, lose your initiative. This you want to play here immediately. Okay.
Because I have a follow-up.
Yeah. The follow-up is nice, I must admit, and you also strengthen yourself. At the same time, white might actually be okay because it can still connect here and it can go into the center. So I'm not sure if white would have
It's
to.
not attacking enough.
Yes, I think white can actually kind of ignore this now. This would also be an idea, but this is a little bit dangerous again, which has to do with the flow of water. Do you see where you are steering the water? Yes. So you can see that, of course, white will immediately go into this direction, and this part of the board is completely open. So anybody who gets stones in this area is kind of happy. So if you push white towards this area, it's not really an attack, but you kind of, yeah, you let your opponent slip through your fingers. So it would be, yes, this kind of move would actually be very interesting, because you're still trying to frame your opponent in. And well, actually in a couple of moves, black played here, and at that point I think this would have been quite a nice move, but I'll just show you what happened now. This is quite severe, black played here, and I think it's quite a good move. Of course you have to be very sure that you want to play this kind of move, because maybe later, like this, you can also play Atari from the other side, whereas if you play here, those possibilities are immediately gone, because now there's no Atari anymore. You know, it's strengthened. White is strengthened here. But on the other hand, black can now cut here, and it's more or less sente. This is also what happened in the game. If white doesn't respond, then this is later very big. It's a very big follow-up, which also is good to keep in mind. Always try to look at follow-ups for your moves. So this move not only connects all these weak stones more or less to these other weak stones, because this stone gets cut off, but it also has a nice follow-up here, which gets rid of all the eye shape and makes white even weaker.
So what is white to do? Like bamboo? Doesn't look very nice.
No, bamboo is, well, it's a very straightforward connection. So this is one of the strongest connections in Go you can have, because this and this is Mi-eye. White cannot be cut off anymore. But also this stone is still in danger. So later black can capture it like this, or get rid of the eye shape in this kind of way. So locally there are almost no eyes in this area if you play the bamboo. What white did is to defend in another way, which is here.
Oh.
And now actually...
Now you cut. Here, cut.
You want to cut, okay. Locally there is a cut, which is very sharp. So this kind of idea is possible, but it's too early to cut immediately.
And I cut Murugandi.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was first thinking about just sacrificing here, but maybe it's actually...
I say thank you very much.
Maybe it's not that great. Oh, actually it's going kind of nice, because you can play here now.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, so now, this kind of move is very interesting for you to see, because a lot of players would play here very vulgarly immediately, and then also you lose your stones and you get this move in sente, but at the same time there is still a cutting point. So while you have to come back, and now black can see initiative and he can take away your eye shape here. So suddenly you have a really heavy, long worm that's not doing anything, and it doesn't have eyes. So this would be terrible. So a better technique to pressure these stones is to play here, which is also sente.
Okay,
Do you see why it's sente? That's important.
Yeah, because now you can play here.
Yes, this would capture the black stone, so black has to respond. So if you play this move anyway, now this stone contributes towards this part of the board. It's actually better than this.
Yeah.
Do you see that? So now you can pressure this stone and, for example, Hane. Can you?
No,
maybe.
no, Murugandi. one you cannot.
No. Well, you can play here as black, but
Why not?
you can, but it's kind of dangerous because you can. Well, these stones will also be cut off. I'm not completely sure. Usually, Hane here is interesting, but now you get two weak groups, so it looks a little bit unreasonable.
Okay, but
Maybe you
even
just.
if you do the Volker move
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, this is
or
better
this,
than
this.
this. Just connecting is better than having a stone
Yeah.
there, probably. Yeah. So, well, anyway, this kind of technique is interesting to keep in your in the back of your head. Don't be too vulgar and too direct. Again, be indirect and gain something on the other side. This part of the board is not interesting, so this part of the board you want to.
Is this kind of move what they call a tesuji?
Well, it's some kind of tesuji, but it's not. It's not that special. This kind of move has to do with experience. If you have a little bit of experience, then you will see these moves very fast. And I don't know if you would call this a tesuji, but tesujis in my how do you say this? When I think about tesuji, I think about special moves that I wouldn't find immediately. So
Yeah, but you are very strong.
yeah, okay.
So this is for me is a special move what I would not find immediately.
Yeah, that's true. I think you can call this a tesuji. I'm not sure. It's some.
You're a little bit arrogant prick, aren't you?
Oh, no, well, okay. I don't know. You say so.
No, I don't say.
Okay. No, yeah, I think this is a tesuji. Yeah.
Okay.
And for you, I will call it tesuji. Okay. Well, let's go back to the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So this cut, you're right, there is still a cut, but maybe it's too early to cut now.
Okay.
You have to be careful because, of course, white can sacrifice some stones. So it was like this. No.
Yeah.
So this is kind of defending this cutting point as well, because it's too early for black to go through, and also it gets some eye shape. So later, if white will gain these kind of moves or this, then it defends the cut, and this is all eyes. So it's almost impossible for black to kill this group. So Rita played there, which is quite okay, quite nice. And at this point, I believe black played here. I will have a little look because I'm not completely sure. Let me see. Yes, black played there. And normally this kind of move is good with this tesuji, because you want to get rid of these cutting points, especially because now white made herself stronger in this area, so all these cutting points here look a little bit tricky. On the other hand, playing here now is very slow, and in this position I would suggest to keep attacking here. I didn't read this all out, all these cutting points, to be honest, but I think it looks promising for black. And in this case, this is more important than defending here. Do you see why?
Because you still have the 3-3 point.
Yes, you still have the 3-3 point, and even if you wouldn't have the 3-3 point, the emphasis in the game is now on this part of the board. This group of white is weak, so you want to attack it as black. Even if white tries to cut this part off now, you're happy to give it away, because it's not as big as all these white stones. So white doesn't have the time to actually cut your group off in this side of the board. That's why I think this is a little bit of a misjudgment in timing. It is a nice way of strengthening your own group before attacking, but sometimes when you're already more or less strong, like here, these stones are almost connected to the other group, then, if you don't really have any weaknesses, why not keep attacking, This is not really important, this is important. So this does look kind of nice, in my opinion.
Okay.
Okay, so this didn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you also have to be very careful. I keep emphasizing this because of all these weaknesses. So, for example, if white keeps pushing, and I'm not sure what would happen. Maybe this. Then cutting here and here will become some sort of miai, because let's say this is sente for this stone and black will capture here. Then this cutting point becomes very important. If white can now cut here, then these 3 stones actually die. So that's why defending might be interesting, but attacking might be even more interesting, but you have to be very careful with these things. Keep looking at all the cutting points and all the aji, and really calculate it. So, yeah, like this.
Okay, so but it is not the move that made me lose 200 fit points.
No, no, that's true. This is quite a fine move. Okay, so now it's white's chance to kind of attack back. Do you know where she played, or what would you play?
I don't remember what she played, and I would play, I don't know, somewhere around here or something. Oh yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I would play here, because I would be totally afraid for this cut.
Okay. Well, making ice for yourself is of course a good idea. If you're weak, you first want to make a base and then fight or run. But if you have a base, you don't have to run anymore. So that's why making a base can be very good. But this kind of move is a little bit painful because black will just respond. And still there is a lot of aji in this area with these kind of moves. Even if black will just vulgarly play here as the next move, if white will defend, you will see that the eyes will become less and less, and locally black will gain a lot of territory in this area. Even if white will live here, it's very small, very local, and yeah, black is just gaining from this situation. And probably even in Sente, because white's not alive yet. So, well, this kind of move is now too local and too slow and too submissive. Like this. Yeah.
So what did white play?
Well, white actually played the dame move that we said earlier.
This one?
Yes, yes, white played there.
He wants to capture these stones.
Yes.
So it's in center that she plays this.
Yes, if it is in Sente, then it's actually, and you don't give anything towards your opponent doesn't gain anything, then this kind of move is quite fine, because it separates this group from the other group. So later maybe there is aji in this corner, and these kind of moves will be Sente for white. And also, black is still not secure in this area, so there's a cutting point here, there's still a cutting point in this area. So black has to be very careful as well.
So black has to connect? Somewhere
well, actually, you might think black would do something like that, but this kind of move is also quite big and quite painful.
Okay.
Because black is not completely alive yet.
I see.
And also this really makes white very big.
Okay, so then maybe I remember black played here.
Yes.
Instead of this.
Yes, black played there in the game, which is first of all a defense, but it's also an attack. Because you can see that there is still a very nasty point here. And because black has a stone over here, this kind of point can either try to connect towards this stone or towards this.
Then this whole group can die.
Yes, that's true. So this kind of move doesn't work completely now, but there's a lot of aji with this kind of move. So that's why attacking is now a really nice defense, because white also suddenly gets a lot of weaknesses. So yeah, black played there, and now white cannot afford to just defend, that would be too slow. So first she played here, I believe. Yes?
But no, this is captured.
It looks like it's captured, yes, but it's actually it's not captured yet. Because it doesn't work what white is trying here. Like this. if white makes a mistake, black makes the mistake to play here, 2 of his stones will be cut off. Yes, this is a very nice tesuji. This is really a tesuji, because well, it's like a smart move that normally you wouldn't find very easy.
I saw it in like 1,000th of a second, Murugandi.
Respect. That's very good. So just to show the audience, now black cannot play here because everything will be captured, and if black plays over here, then these 2 stones will be cut off. That's why, yeah, this would be very painful for black. White would be completely alive. How was this? I'm messing it up again. There was a stone over there.
This is it? But not this black stone.
Yes.
Okay.
So
White
here,
put it there,
here,
put it there.
here, and instead of playing this move now, this is actually something for black.
Okay, so white has to defend.
Yes. Well, if white defends, this didn't happen in the game, but then suddenly the trick doesn't work anymore.
Okay.
See?
Yes.
So the shortage of liberties for black is now gone.
And it's very good that black never made this push.
Yes, exactly.
Because if black would have made this push, then it was lost.
Yes, then white can actually go out. Yeah. So that's very good. Always be careful with these kind of exchanges, because you also reduce your own liberties.
And you take out the possibility to make these
Yes.
kind of tesujis.
Very good. Yeah. So this kind of move would be horrible in this case. Yeah. Be absolutely. Yeah. Don't play that.
Only if you play go, then you must play it.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Okay. So this
Also didn't happen, of course.
no, this didn't happen.
This move did happen?
Yes,
Or
and then
okay.
white just defended here.
Okay.
And wow. Where
So
will we play now?
black can play anywhere on the board now.
Ooh. Anywhere on the board.
Or no?
Well, it's slightly dangerous what you're saying, because if black plays somewhere else, let's say he takes a big point here,
Okay.
then these kind of moves are quite nice for white. Do you see why?
Black has to take.
Yes. If black doesn't take, then white will capture these stones, so has to come back to this weakness here, and now this kind of weakness is very big.
Ooh, nice.
So suddenly this whole group is under attack.
Nice move.
Yeah.
This is also a tesuji, Murugandi.
Yeah.
For me it would be tesuji.
Yeah, I guess
The
that's,
other one would not be tesuji for me.
Yeah.
So a tesuji is like personal.
I guess, yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's locally a smart move, like a special move. I don't know. If you just know these things and it's more or less standard for you, then for you it's not a tesuji anymore, but I guess for others it is.
Okay.
I mean, it still remains a smart move, you know, so you can call it a tesuji. But yeah, it is personal, I guess. So anyway, what I was saying.
What were you saying, Murugandi?
When you tanuki, it's kind of dangerous here because of all the aji still.
Okay.
And this group is not yet alive completely. So you want to be careful.
Immediately do this.
Yes, this is a very good move. And actually, when I was looking at the Kifu, I was kind of surprised that this was played. I was kind of, happily surprised with this move because it's very nice. My first response, my first idea would be to take this stone, which is very straightforward, very, well, a little bit vulgar. But at least, you know, you connect your group and it's safe. But now, these kind of possibilities still exist. So this kind of move could be sente, and still you can try to surround black, because you separate the groups. But if black actually plays here, now this cutting point is less important. It's less dangerous for him. So it's kind of a Miyai situation. Now this stone gets captured, or this. And it's not really important to play this move anymore.
Do you think Ulrike used doping for this game? that she had like, because she made like 10 6-dan moves already in this game.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. She was, she really played very well.
What kind of doping do you recommend? Murugandi?
Well, I don't know. I don't think any drugs is really helping for your go, to be honest.
Okay.
No.
But something happened because she
Maybe
took
she-
you like for 20 years, I'm exaggerating, but a long time, and she's outplaying a very strong 4-dan.
Maybe she watched the show. I don't think so. Ah, well, you know, maybe she found some inspiration this day, and yeah, she played really well. Yeah, I was very surprised. So yeah, this is a nice move again because it contributes to an important part of the board, whereas my silly move is kind of useless. This doesn't really do much. So yeah, this is cool. What would you do now for white? Because this group is still weak, you have to keep that in mind. Always keep thinking, do I have a weak group? Yes, you have a weak group. So, strengthen it.
I don't know, Morgan.
That's not good enough.
I will come out on this move again. And,
Okay.
that's not good. So, just show me.
Okay, so she played here. Rita played in this point. Which is, I guess it's the only move. I think I also would play there. It keeps this kind of IG open. Later, this kind of move is very nice because it threatens to cut here.
And to walk away.
And to walk out with that stone. And then black will have to make some horrible shape like this, and then this is again Sente.
Wow.
And this actually happened in the game, but a little bit later.
Okay.
So this move is quite nice. And it also aims at going out, of course. Because white doesn't want to get surrounded. Moves like this would be still painful, this or this. Now it's even more painful actually because black strengthened himself in this area. Not only once. Herself. Not only once but twice. So white has to be extremely careful now. I'm sorry for calling you a man. So, herself. So this is a nice move. And now black has the opportunity to play somewhere on the board. Where would you play?
I would play...
Are you thinking about your weak groups?
Yeah,
Do you have any weak groups?
This.
Okay. So, is it really weak?
No.
No. Because you can still connect here. In any case, if white will try to attack you here, you have this connection. And if white will play on this side, you can just walk away or make eyes. So it's not weak, it's actually quite alive. And
But I don't have a move to attack this, really, only to this cut again, but I have two little liberties now.
yes, and also, like you said, if you try to attack this, then it's again the flow of water because you push your opponent into this direction, and the more stones white will gain here, the weaker your own group will become. So then suddenly you have to be careful with this cut, because if white gets the chance, then this is suddenly not alive.
Okay, now maybe I would do this, because now I threaten this cut again.
Okay, but this cut is locally only aiming at these 3 stones.
That's true.
You have to keep that in mind, it didn't change. So instead of going for 3 stones here, you want to do something on the whole board.
I don't know.
This isn't here, sorry.
Oh, then I would play here.
Yes, that's very good. This also happened in the game. I think it's very fine move. Again, well done, Ulrike. You were playing very well.
Shall we give her some VIP points?
Yeah, let's do that.
No, she cost me 200 VIP points, man. You know what I can do with 200 VIP points. No, Ulrike, I will send you the bill.
Oh, come on, she deserves it. She played so
that's
nice.
True. That's
She
true.
played so nice.
Okay. We will work something.
Okay.
But not now. Now I'm still
Angry.
angry at my loss.
Okay. That's cool.
Okay, what did Rita answer?
Well, Rita played here, which is
Wow. She's like the pincer queen.
yeah, she doesn't like to be submissive. So yeah, this actually this is a good move because if white would actually will
Yeah.
play this kind of move, and the whole left side is black's, and white doesn't have anything to say in this game. Just has to somehow reduce this, but along the way black will take territory, and yeah, doesn't look good for white. This would be terrible. Black would win the game like this. So white has to actually pincer. Another way to see what black wants to do is to approach this corner yourself. It's another way of playing, which could be interesting. For example, if black would just take this kind of position, which is very submissive as well, but and she would make a base here, then this kind of clamp is nice because it works together with this stone. So if the tesuji would go like that, then you can see that these stones of white are now working together with this one. So this is like a probe. If black will play there, then you can come back in this area. And if black will not be so submissive, but will play something like this, then you can go into the corner, for example.
This would be great for white.
Yes, this would be very nice. I think so too. So this kind of idea is also kind of nice for white, to see what black wants to do. In both ways you gain something, and it's like a probe. Of course, you also has to be careful for this kind of follow-up for black. So yeah, you have to. It's also according to your playing style. If you like this kind of probing tesujis, then could be nice. But if you're afraid of this pincer, then yeah, maybe this is not the right way to play for you. So anyway, Rita didn't do this. Rita played here, which is also well, perfectly fine. It's the right direction of the game, because this is now the most important part of the board. Always keep looking at these global points. Which side is the most important in Fusaki? So if it's your turn as white now, and you're thinking, oh man, what should I do? I don't know, there are so many josukis here. Think about the direction of play. So first of all, this josuki doesn't make any sense, because then black can play here, which is, you know, what he wants to do, or she wants to do in this case. So
also, you are always political correct, huh?
He's mean today. He's very mean. So what you have to think about now is some kind of pincer. So either here or here or here, any of these moves. So by thinking about the direction, you can already cancel some of the other moves that you might think about, like this, or I don't know, this, anything in this area is wrong. So if you really don't know what to play, think about the direction of play. What's the most important side of the board? Always keep that in mind. So this is fine. Now there are a lot of follow-ups that are possible again. Yeah, I can just show a couple, or
We can also do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
I thank you, audience, and I will put you on black.